of many paradoxes and contradictions. He had his fads, peculiarities, and prejudices, and some of them, when I observed them or listened to him explain and defend them, struck me as outlandish. I have not hesitated in this memoir, despite my immense admiration for him that at times bordered on adoration, to point them out. Like other men, he quarreled with his wife, whom he had married when both were 13, and he was for a time a trial to her. We have his own word for it. I saw quite a bit of her in my time in India, and liked and admired her. She was illiterate, lost in the world her dynamic husband was shaking, but she had her strengths. The Mahatma was genuinely the humblest of men, though he was not unaware of his greatness. But I have seen him behave stubbornly and dictatorially to his co-workers, making what I felt were outrageous demands on some of them, as when he insisted that even those who were married and happily observe the celibacy he had imposed on himself in his late 30s, after many years of what he called a lustful relationship with his own wife. But even after that act of self-discipline, he could be, as Jawaharlal Nehru, his chief disciple and his successor, observed with puzzlement, obsessed with sex. In the evening of his long life, at the very moment of his crowning political triumph, though a dark one in his personal life, Gandhi shocked and offended many by his inexplicable practices with beautiful young Hindu women, which seemed to those who knew and loved and worshipped him contrary to all he had stood for and preached. But against these human frailties there stood out the man of infinite goodness, a seeker all his life of truth, which he equated with God, a pilgrim who believed that love was the greatest gift of man, and that love and understanding and tolerance and compassion and nonviolence, if they were only practiced, would liberate mankind from much of the burden, oppression, and evil of life. This was not to be in his own country or in any other, and probably, given the cussedness of the human race, it will never be. But Gandhi gave his life and his genius to try to make it so, or at least more so than it had ever been. He was too wise to have many illusions, but his hope was boundless. To observe at first hand that mighty effort, to rub up against, if ever so briefly, the towering greatness, the goodness, the high spirits and humor, the humility, the subtlety of mind, the integrity and purity of purpose, and that indefinable thing, the genius of this man, was the greatest stroke of fortune that ever befell me. I have tried in these pages to give a feeling of what it was like, and to indicate its impact on me, an ignorant, young American foreign correspondent at the time. The mark it left on me has lasted to this day, through the subsequent half-century of my life and work, helping me to bear the ups and downs of existence, to survive the strains of all the brutal, man-made upheavals, and the barbarism and the hypocrisy we have lived through in our time, and providing a certain light that helped to guide me toward an understanding, however incomplete, of the meaning of our brief sojourn on this perplexing planet. The Indian Revolution, like its leader, also was unique, the first non-violent revolution, I believe, in history, or at least the first that succeeded. It was Gandhi's genius that made it, led it, and saw it through, after incredible setbacks, to its moment of triumph. He never doubted its end, nor, as he often insisted to me in some of the darkest moments, that it would come while he still lived. It was a difficult revolution to understand, even for Indians, and especially for one like me, who came to India loaded down with all the foolish prejudices and myths of the West, which had been dominated so long by force and violence. So astute a statesman as Winston Churchill never faintly grasped it. But I did my best to try to understand it, and perhaps a little light on it emerges from this memoir of the man who made it and won it, and who left so indelible an imprint.